Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. Well, Newcastle United followed up their brilliant 3-0 win over Sheffield United on Sunday with a pretty tedious 1-1 draw at home to Aston Villa. But this is your show. We want your reaction. Click the link in the description to come into our virtual green room, as Jake Sennett has already done. And you will have the chance to appear with us wonderful three gentlemen here this evening. I'm joined by Lee and Rob, not Rob and Lee. So, Rob, point gained or 2 points dropped?
2 points dropped. Today was a big opportunity to maybe go above Arsenal, go into the top half against an Aston Villa side that has been suffering of late, and to lose it late on, to go ahead in that second half. And it's a costly goal to concede as well. I think there's a comedy of errors in there. You got to look at Miggy at the near post. He doesn't head it away. Doesn't go in fully committed into that header. I think Shelvey puts Dubravka off, and then that in turn makes Dubravka go into that error. So yeah, it's a poor goal to concede. It really is.
Lee, I've been saying ever since I've joined the channel that we've been horrendous this season at defending set pieces. Is it any surprise that's how we conceded the goal today?
I just want to beat Villa because I want to see Villa go down. But
yeah,
look, I think it's a Dubravka mistake. Let's not kid ourselves. He's a fantastic goalkeeper, but he does make the odd mistake, and I think he's up there with David De Gea for the most mistakes in the past 2 years. Although he does save us numerous times. So for me, I don't think really you can pick on anyone else bar Shelvey, but more so Dubravka. For me, Dubravka has to be saving that.
Yeah, I agree. And it was funny as well because when we were at Villa Park earlier in the season, Dubravka made a couple of mistakes at Villa Park, did he not? For their 2 goals, again, from set pieces. So it seems to be a recurring theme against Aston Villa, which is a game none of us wanted to lose. None of us. Rob, what did you make of Steve Bruce's lineup tonight? Was it? I mean, it was an unchanged team. Was that a good decision, or should he have rotated the squad a bit more?
I was satisfied. with that. I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 changes because on Sunday it was the first game for absolutely ages. So there was certainly a lack of match fitness, and to play as long as the guys did on Sunday, I was expecting Bruce had in mind to make 1 or 2 changes going into tonight. So a little bit surprised but satisfied, because I do think that 11 probably is our strongest 11 at the moment.
Lee, do you agree? Have we got to manage the squad more, or is Rob right and we went for the strongest 11?
It does look like that it is the strongest side, but do you rotate from Manchester City this weekend? Does Bruce play the same side again, or will he make 1 or 2 changes? I can see that happening now, making 1 or 2 changes now, because we've seen this start lineup 2 games running. Richie's injury doesn't look great, so he's probably going to miss it. And I could see maybe a couple of changes in the forward line after Dwight Gill, I'm sure he'll talk about later. Netting, he's got to stake his claim. But yeah, I'm not against the lineup or anything. I'm pretty happy that he's gone with the strongest, but there's a question mark now over the game on Sunday, which team Bruce goes for.
Absolutely. Is it time to get on our first, I was going to say caller then, but they're not really ringing, are they? Who should we get on, Lee? What do you reckon? We've got Jake Thomas and we've got Lawrence waiting.
Get Jake on since he's been waiting first. I'll drop out if you'd like.
Go on then. And here is Jake. Jake, good evening. You are on NFTV. What did you make of that result?
I found it very poor.
Yeah, it reminded me a bit of the Norwich game at home. Do you not think that's now the 2 bottom teams in the league that have taken 4 points off us? It's not great, is it?
No, very boring.
And what did you make of the starting 11? Did Bruce get it right, or should he have made changes?
I think he should have made a few changes. Maybe brought in Yedlin or a bit of Lazaro.
Would you start Carroll on Sunday against City, or would you persevere with Joe Linton?
I would play 2 up top.
2 up top, so a change in system. Rob, what do you make of that?
Well, it was certainly one that was gambled late on in the game. We seemed to play a 4-4-2 in the last few minutes, and I don't know, we just didn't have. I don't think we had enough attacks to try that formation out. It's one of those formations that I think would suit Joe Linton, but with Carroll and Gale, well, it was a good combination for the goal, but I just don't see it as a long-term partnership, to be honest.
No, maybe not. Jake, based on that performance, do you give us any sort of hope against Manchester City on Sunday night?
Not really. The only hope I can see is penalties.
You're clutching at straws already. How are we going to line up in that one? Oh, yeah. Are we going with 5 at the back against City?
Yeah. Maybe put Dummett in.
Who would you take out?
Put Dummett in.
Hayden or Almiron.
Isaac Hayden, of course, went off injured. We don't know the full details, but when we know, we'll let you know. Jake, thank you very much for coming on, and we'll hopefully you'll come on with us next time. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye.
That was Jake there, who brings in Dummett. Is Dummett eligible for the Man City game, Lee?
I think he is, yeah. For the Premier League, he's not, obviously, but I think Dummett could play. But is he match fit? It wouldn't surprise me if he starts, to be honest with you, for Danny Rose.
Good point, actually. Rose was looking a bit leggy and a bit weary. Right then, I think it's Rob's turn to sit out now as Thomas is waiting. So let's bring in Thomas. Good evening, Thomas. You are on NFTV. What did you make of that game?
A bit disappointing at the end. The first half, Aston Villa dominated us a little bit, and then at the end of it, we started coming into it a bit more. And then at the end of the game, we were just struggling because Aston Villa brought in all them subs and they made the difference. And Newcastle, disappointing result really for Aston Villa when we beat Sheffield United 3-0 a couple of days ago.
Very. What did you make of Gale and Carroll? Did they play well together? Is that advocating 2 up top?
Not really. Carroll hasn't got the pace he's got there when Dubravka hooves them, kicks up from the different bits, and he puts them up, and then he gets the header, knocks them down to like the centre mids, Hayden, Shelby. But Gale, he done well for that goal, but I don't think he can do that in every game. Just a lucky game.
Possibly. Who do you think was Newcastle's best player this evening?
Newcastle's best player, probably Maximin. His little skills got into the game plays from Mankila's crosses and different crosses from the other wing backs and centre mids, bringing them across, and Almiron's through balls, really good.
Lee, young Thomas knows his stuff. Was ASM our best player tonight? Was he our only real outlet?
Yeah, I've got to agree. I think the commentary team was spot on it's not often I'll agree for Robbie Savage, but Alan Saint-Maximin was our best player, and it was a game of substitutes, wasn't it? That's what changed it for us, and that's what changed it for Villa, fresh legs. And yeah, it is frustrating to wait because we've only got 7 or 8 minutes to hang on. And it's the one team that we all dislike as Newcastle fans in the Premier League is Aston Villa. So I hope they do go down. But Aston Villa have taken 4 points off us this season, which is disappointing.
Yeah.
Very, as did Norwich. As I said before, that's the bottom 2 teams in the league now that have taken 4 points off us. It's not really acceptable after the way we played on Sunday. Thomas, how do you think we'll get on Sunday against City? Do you hold us? Do you give us any chance?
Yeah, I've said this. I think we're going to win 1-0. 1-0.
Wow. I like the optimism.
Like, at the start of the game, we're going to score, and then we're just going to carry on from, like, not even attacking, sit back and defend. That's what Newcastle do against big clubs. Get a goal, and they just sit back and push forward when they can sometimes.
Thomas, question for you. So Dubravka be safe from that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you agree with Martin then on screen. Yeah, Dubravka's got to be safe, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Thomas, we'll hold you to that one prediction on Sunday. Thank you very much for coming on again.
Thank you.
And Come on again. If we do beat Man City on Sunday 1-0, make sure you come on again. That was Thomas there. Lee, are we going to start NFTV Junior? I know Paul likes S Club Junior. Maybe we could have an NFTV Junior.
Let's keep the 90s pop music away from this conversation because, God, it'll only stop Paul off Billy Piper and Britney Spears. The list is endless. But, hey, Arsenal Fan TV have a junior one, don't they?
There you go. Maybe we can expand in the future. Who knows? Who knows? He definitely knows his stuff. So we've got Lawrence and we've got Elliot waiting. So let's bring on Lawrence. Why not?
I'll drop out.
Bye-bye this time. You can sit out.
Hey, guys.
Back, and as is Lawrence. Lawrence, welcome back
Hi,
to
Lawrence.
NFT.
Hey, guys.
Very familiar face on here now. What did you make of Dubravka's performance tonight? He's let one slip under him. What do you make of his performance as a whole?
Thought he did well with like catching crosses as he usually does, but when you're a goalkeeper, it's that one error that leads to a goal that's gonna get more attention than stopping like the threat.
There we see El Mohammadi, who got the equaliser on screen. Who's a Steve Bruce boy. Steve Bruce signing for Sunderland, Hull, and Villa. I mean, Rob will correct me if I'm wrong.
You are right, and I do have another stat as well. Dwight Gale's goal today now puts him as the third highest Newcastle goal scorer in the last 10 years, behind Papi Cisse and Jose Perez. He's now overtaken Demba Ba. With that goal today, he's overtaken Demba Ba. Yeah.
Well, that was Dwight Gale's first Newcastle League goal since the last day of the 17-18 season, the last day of the season against Chelsea, if you remember. So it's not just you with the stats tonight, Rob. So, as always.
Yeah, it helps when the commentary team on the telly actually help you out.
I had it on mute. I don't listen to Robbie Savage. I had it on mute. That's just pure coincidence, I assure you.
He's a wanker. He's a wanker.
If you want to join the stream, click the link in the comment on the live chat. You will see it there and you'll come into the green room. Now, Lawrence, there was a bit of a theme, I thought, in the first half, which was sloppy passing, giving the ball away far too easily. Who do you think was the main culprits of that?
That's probably something I have to think about, but I do feel it's just going to be natural for maybe the rest of the season. Well, maybe it's more now. And I mean, the Bundesliga more picked up later on, but you're probably going to see a lot of 0-0 half-time games. But Shelby just didn't start very brightly. They played some good balls out. Saint-Maximin. I mean, Hayden.
Do you think the defense? Do you think the defense struggled today? Because I thought Fernandes was struggling to cope with Samatta's movement.
I don't think the defense struggled. To be fair,
Rob, do you agree?
I think, to be honest, when it comes to Aston Villa's attack, it never strikes fear in me. And Buona Samatta, no one ever heard of him. Like they've taken way too many players from the Belgian league. Are Belgian league players typically Premier League proven? I mean, that is why Aston Villa are down there, in my opinion. There was Wesley as well, also from the Belgian league. Would he have scored goals in the second half of the season? And Buona Samatta, he just does not strike fear in me. I honestly think he's worse than Joel Linton. And today, he just didn't seem off the pace. He just seemed like he didn't know where the goal was. That's just my opinion. Whenever I've seen Buona Samatta, he just doesn't know where the goal is. Marvelous Camber as well. These are players who I just don't think are anywhere near good enough in the Premier League, and that is why Villa are really struggling.
They're struggling, but they dominated against us in the main. Lawrence, do you think Villa have enough to stay up, or do you think they're going down?
I still think they'll go down. They've mentioned some of the fixtures they've still got to play. Liverpool away next weekend, on the 4th of July. I think they've still got to host Man United. I could say host Arsenal, but look at Arsenal this season.
Yeah. So where do you think we'll finish? Are we doomed for around that where we are now, that 13th, 14th, or are we going to sneak a top 10, or is it just going to peter out into pretty much nothing?
Yeah, it's probably we'll probably just finish 13th, I reckon.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Lawrence, thanks again for coming on, and no doubt you'll be on next time. I know you're always keen. So cheers for coming on. We'll see you soon.
See you guys.
Yeah,
As we welcome back Mr. Lawler.
Oi, oi. I don't know about you, but I am sweating.
There
here,
he is in the middle there.
same.
34 degrees.
It is so muggy in here as well.
Honestly, it's proper clammy. I can see Brandon's. I think he's at the pub again. I think that lad lives there.
Another Heineken.
I wonder if he's ever watched a Newcastle game completely stone cold Steve sober. He's always seems to be necking a pint of Heineken. He loves it, the lad. Right, we'll get Brandon on after we've had Elliot. So I don't know. It's Rob's turn to disappear, I think, isn't it? And we'll welcome back Elliot, who was on with us last week. Not last week. It was just 3 days ago. Evening, Elliot.
I think the goal was great between Carroll and Gale, Andy Carroll and Dwight Gale. He hasn't scored a long time.
Yeah, very well worked goal with the sub.
Andy Carroll.
What do you make of Tyrone Mings' defending, Elliot? Carroll seemed to have done a number on him there.
Yeah, Andy Carroll seems. His assist pass did great to Andy Carroll was good, but I wasn't so happy about the comeback between Martin Dubravka and Shelby giving Dubravka. Dubravka is a good keeper. I think that was a mistake, but I think 1 point is good enough for tonight. But in my comments in the YouTube chat, I said City would be a tough game. We would hope to beat City, but considering COVID-19, we won't be there to see our team in Wembley.
No, we won't, and it would be very typical of Newcastle United to get to Wembley when none of us can be there.
I'm not dreaming on getting to Wembley this year, given COVID-19.
Yeah, that's right. With Dubravka's mistake, do you kind of let him off with that, as he's been so good this season, or should he really be doing better?
I think Martin Dubravka had an off day, and there was a mistake between Shelby and the corner flag. I think from the TV was the goal started by a throw-in, and Carroll and Gale scored it together. I love that combine, but in 10 minutes we didn't give up. 10 minutes we didn't go on and get the victory. But I think Villa will still go down this season.
Fingers crossed. Final question for you, Elliot. You were on the Diet Coke cans last time you were on. Are you on the cans again tonight?
Yeah.
That sounds like a yes. There they are. Good man, Elliot. Right, well, thank you very much for coming on, and we'll see you again next time. That was Elliot there. He's still on the cans of Diet Coke. He loves it. He loves it, doesn't he, Lee?
Sam, you've got competition there, mate.
I have another stat for you, but sorry, go on.
Go on, hit me.
Okay, so
hit me with
Sunday. So on Sunday, when Matt Ritchie scored for 2-0, our 100th last goal before that was Matt Ritchie against Man United in 2018. So he then goes back full circle. He scores again, and the same has happened tonight as Dwight Gale. Going into the fixture tonight. Gale scored our 100th last goal. It was his second against Bournemouth back in February 2018. and he's come back full circle and scored again.
Just want to point out,
He's
Jake,
not been crying. He's
I'm
just
not crying.
perspiring heavily.
It is very, very hot in this room. I am sweating
myself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful summer's day. It had kind of like a World Cup feel, I think, the games at the moment. Do you not think? Because there's more than one game a day. It's all lovely weather out, and players are having to stop halfway for a drinks break. And most of the games, especially in first halves, are pretty naff. But there you go. Right, we'll have Brandon on next, and then followed by Craig and Lloyd, who are waiting. So it's Lee's turn to drop out. Off he goes, and here he is. Oh, what a surprise. He's in the pub. Brandon, what did you make of that game tonight?
I don't know, man. I was buzzing that Gill scored, but it's kind of passionate, in my opinion. I missed the passion a little bit. But we had to win on Sunday against Sheffield Wednesday. I don't know. I missed the passion a little bit, to be fair.
Yeah, wasn't great. What did you make of the Dubravka error? Was it completely Dubravka's fault, or was it a bit of a defensive mix?
He's been good all season. He can make an error. Come on. In my opinion, like he's one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League this year, maybe last year as well. And come on, he can make an error. So it was also poor defending, in my opinion. So, you know.
Yeah,
I don't want
to think it was Isaac Hayden and then Shelby, obviously, with a little clip, and it was just a comedy there from start to finish. Rob, you would think that defending set plays, with it being such a recurring theme, you would think that they'd be working on the training ground to correct it.
Well, I tell you what, if this was Football Manager, I would be making sure that they would be training on the set pieces, both attacking at them and defending them at a double intensity. I would have done that long ago. That would have been my focus. But of course, this is the real world. It's not Football Manager, unfortunately. I think we have other strengths. It just happens to be that set pieces happens to be a weakness of ours, and it's a key weakness because obviously a lot of goals do get involved with set pieces. So it's just one of those things we need to practice. We need to keep supporting them. There's nothing more else to it, really. Just keep practicing them instead of finishing as well. We just need almost like an overhaul of training, to be honest.
Brandon, were you happy with the defensive display as a whole tonight, or would you be bringing in the likes of Yedlin or maybe Shah again for City on Sunday?
I would like to see Clark instead of Jamal. As much as I like Jamal, he's a good lad. He's a good captain, but I don't know. Fernandes is too good to put him out of the team. So I would definitely say want to see Fernandes and Clark up in the back.
Not sure what you're dropping the cell.
I guess so, yeah. I don't know. He's like kind of hiding somehow. Like he's nothing like.
Do you not think the leadership on the pitch would suffer? We saw Matt Ritchie go off injured tonight. They're your big two vocalists on the pitch. Do you not think the team would suffer in that sense?
I know that's a problem. You know, like he is a leader. That's true. I admit, but somehow he still needs to do his defending duty. So it's like I don't know, but if I would drop someone in the back, it would be probably Jamal. And I want to see Kieran Clark. He's been decent enough, in my opinion, like especially since.
Yeah, I think Clark is still struggling a bit with an injury. He wasn't on the bench today, but I don't think it's too much longer until he makes a return. Rob, do you agree with Brandon there? Would you be looking at maybe pulling Lascelles out of the team for 1 or 2 games?
Yeah,
I think it's a massive game on Sunday, so this is not the time to do that, I don't think. I think as far as the league's concerned, we've fulfilled our principal objective of staying up. I think the target now would be top half, and that is ambitious. But I think what's more important to us now is the FA Cup. So keep yourselves in the side for Sunday. If he needs a rest, give it to him next week for the match against Bournemouth.
I have to say though, like don't drop him for Sunday to the Man City game. Don't drop him for that. But like what I mean to say, like in the Premier League games, especially like we are safe, you know, we could see how Kieran would do.
Amber Robson says, I'm impressed with Maximin. I don't think she'll be alone in that one. Brandon, just how good is ASM and how good was he tonight?
I thought he was better at Sheffield, to be honest, but he was decent enough. He's almost like scoring a 7, I would say. I just have to say, like, what was up with Andy Carroll tonight? He was all over the place. I was impressed with Andy, to be fair. And what's up with
Rob,
his beard?
what did you make? What did you make of ASM? Was he our best performance? Was he our best performer, or was it Andy Carroll when he came off the bench?
ASM was definitely our best performer tonight, without a doubt, and deservedly got the man of the match. A 7, I am slightly surprised by that. I reckon in the player ratings he might get maybe an 8 at least.
I mean, like,
9
he's
might just be pushing it, but
like if
yeah.
he's always a 7, you know. He never like really. I would say that like plays better or anything. He never disappoints.
But for the player ratings, they will be live later on. Just a little plug for that in about an hour's time.
I was just coming on to that. If you want to find out what ASM gets in the player rating, about 15-20 minutes after we're done here, Johnny is presenting scoring the players along with Kyle and myself. So stay tuned for that one. Brandon, thank you very much for coming on. We'll leave you to your lovely
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, what?
I'm just in a pub because, like, in the Netherlands, they don't broadcast, like, they only broadcast like the big games, so they don't really broadcast like Newcastle United a lot. So that's why I'm in the Irish pub, because they have like BT Sports and everything. That's why I'm here. So, you know, like, just to clear that up.
Commitment to the end. Or any excuse to go to the pub. But anyway, cheers for coming on, Brandon, and we'll see you next time. That was Brandon in Holland there. Now then, let's go for, as Lee comes back in, what did you make of what Brandon was saying there, Lee? Should we take Lascelles out of the team for a few games in the league now, or should he be staying on?
I think he's in some dodgy bar from what it looks like in Amsterdam, if you ask me. That doesn't look like a normal bar to me. But I've just noticed, Sam, have you got a pint of water and a pint of Thatcher's?
Yes.
Explain yourself.
And well, I've got the water because it's absolutely boiling in here. I mean, I can kind of, there's a cross section here because the water is in a Thatcher's glass. And then I've got the can of Thatcher's now as well. But I also have this wonderful extra hard IPA from our sponsors, Beer 52. Head on over to beer52.com/NFTV for your introductory offer. An 8-case of beer for just the price of delivery. Ding, dang, do. And our other sponsors, of course, 3 Retro and Amazon. Now, I'm going to get rid of you two because
fair enough.
I can. So you two are going, and on come Craig and Lloyd. Any second now with Craig. And here's Lloyd. Good evening, gent.
Hey.
Hi, how's it going?
Right, we will start with Craig. Craig, what did you make of that game this evening?
Well, I mean, I wasn't overly disappointed. I wasn't pleased with the performance, but I wasn't disappointed too much, other than the sloppy goal that we conceded. I mean, we've played worse this season, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
So,
Lloyd, what did you agree, or was it 2 points dropped, conceding from a winning position?
I think the first half was a bit dire, a bit boring to watch, to be honest with you. Second half picked up. Subs made a big impact on the team, bringing Carroll on. I think he played really well, held the ball up, brought the players into play. ASM is probably our best player. He brings so much creativity to our team. It's unreal. Without him, we wouldn't have anything. I think Manquillo, he played really well. He's been a really good player for us, and he's a real outstanding player for us. And he gets a lot of stick, but he's one of our best players in my eyes. He never makes mistakes or anything like that. So yeah.
Do you think we've got to still look at strengthening that right back position, Lloyd, or are you quite happy sticking with Manquillo for the foreseeable?
Oh, we definitely need to strengthen. Yeah, 100%. We need to get somebody else in. I mean, our defenders, our central defenders, we have about 4 or 5 defenders. We've got some good players in defence, but yeah, I think we do need to strengthen there. Also, probably left back as well. I'm not too sure if Danny Rose is the answer. I think maybe till the end of the season and maybe think about getting somebody different, but I don't think Danny Rose is the answer for us, no.
Craig, would you be making the Rose deal permanent?
No. Do you want a longer answer, or because I mean, so
no,
I think
that's absolutely fine. It's straight to the point. Yeah,
I don't
agree.
I don't think he's got the. I think he's past his sell-by date. I think would be the best way to put it. Don't get me wrong. There is still
some. Make a cracking tackle.
He made a great tackle. I was just about to say he made a great tackle tonight. You know, and so there is still some talent there, but I just don't think there's enough of it to warrant making that deal permanent. What I would like to see us do, if I mean, look, I think, you know, at this point, I think it's safe to say this, you know, cans are on ice. But let's say it didn't go through for some weird reason, right? And say that we were on limited funds. I'd like to see us make Willems permanent, bring him back over after his injury, because I think he did well when he was here.
I think the Willems deal, I think 99% of, let's take us three as a representation of the whole of Newcastle fans. I think all three of us would agree we'd all love to see Willems back. I think he was immense. Lloyd, do you agree with that? You're nodding away there.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a given, takeover or no takeover. Lloyd, what were the positives tonight? Did you see any? Did you find any?
I think we should start Andy Carroll in the next game. I know Joe Linton was the 40 million man, and his price tag is high for what he is. He's not a 40 million striker. Give him time. The thing is with Joe Linton, he doesn't even hold the ball up. That's the problem I have with him. You bring on Andy Carroll, you see a completely different striker. Maybe because Andy's been in the game for a bit of time now, and he knows what to do. But I think start Andy Carroll, yeah. Just start Andy Carroll, yeah.
Craig, do you go along with that, or are we sticking with Joe Linton, or even giving Gale or Muto a chance against Man City on Sunday?
All right, so first things first with Joe Linton. Look, he didn't score tonight, but you know, as I've seen a lot of comments, you know, disrespecting Joe Linton tonight. Look, he didn't score, but give him a chance, lads. He scored last game. You know, there are strikers like Aguero, for example, that get 9 or 10 chances in a game and don't score, for Christ's sake. You can't expect him to score every single game. I'm not saying we should start Joe Linton, though, of course. You know, I think that we have options there, and it's ultimately Brucey's got to make the right choice on the night. But you know, would I take Joe Linton out? Probably not. You know, I think although he's not for me, he's not an out-and-out striker. By the way, coming back on the comment that our colleague made, he's a winger. That's when we bought him, he was playing in a wing position. He wasn't playing as a centre forward or as a lone striker. So we've asked him to play in a role that he's not been comfortable with, and that's shown. Do I think he can become a good striker? Only time's going to tell. I certainly don't think he was worth the £40 million. And as I said, I think, you know, ultimately we've got to go with what the right choice on the night is. And I think we have several options that are both on a similar level, like Gale, Muto, Carroll, Joe Linton. I think all four of them are performing roughly about the same right now. So it's hard to say which one I'd pick over another.
Yeah, it is definitely a conundrum, and it's an area that we just need to strengthen and get rid of the dead wood, unfortunately. Lloyd, do you give us any chance, any hope in hell against Manchester City on Sunday, or is the cup run going to come to an end?
I tell you, the last time when I was a kid, I used to watch Newcastle win the FA Cup final against Man United, and that's the closest I've ever come to a final. So against Man City and the players that they have, very unlikely. I'd like to be optimistic, but Man City are just a different class than what we are. We just don't have the players to compete with teams like Man City. So I would like to say we could beat them, but in being a realist, probably not. No.
Did we beat Man City earlier this season, or was that last season?
This season.
No, it was 2-2
was it?
earlier this season. Last season was the 2-1, yeah.
Right, okay. Because I knew we
So,
beat them.
Craig, on that, do you give us any chance, or are we
I mean,
doomed?
we've done it before, which says we can do it. I'm not going to say we're doomed, but I am going to say it's going to be a big ask. A big ask.
That's a very politically correct answer. I like it. Well, gents, thank you for coming on, and fingers crossed for Sunday, and we'll hope to chat with you again soon. That's Craig
No problem. Take care.
Lloyd there.
Take care, guys.
So, as we welcome back Lee Lawler and Rob Spieral to the Fan Reaction Show, if you did want to join me, go on, Rob.
I'll tell you what, Craig's headphones reminded me of Kevin Keegan's rant, saying when he said, "I would love it if we beat them."
Love it.
I would love it. I love those headphones, Craig. Very similar to what Kevin Keegan wore when he did that famous rant.
Yes, 95, 96 all over again. But they made some good points there. We've got TJ waiting and we've got Pride Lock waiting. So, gents, I will come to you soon. Lee, were you worried when Richie hobbled off and when Hayden hobbled off? Could they be a miss if they're unavailable for the next 2 or 3 games?
I didn't realise Richie was injured when they had the drinks break, to be honest with you. And then you seen his was it his calf, thigh? He had an ice pack on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Let's just hope it's not serious. But Hayden gets injured quite a lot in every game. You always see him go down, and he picks up a knock and just gets on with it. I'm not too worried about him. Richie probably, but if Richie doesn't make it for the weekend, I think that'll be Lazaro's spot. Or if he wants to change it even further, he could put Mutu, maybe move Almiron a little bit wider. I'm not too worried about Richie because I think if it was Saint-Maximin, I'd be more worried. But Richie's not a huge loss. I don't feel he's a good grafter, but I don't think going forward we've got other options that possibly could do it as good as a job, if not better.
I have to say I was surprised Richie was playing because we were told he was struggling for fitness before Sheffield United, and he obviously got the second goal, and then to see him again start today surprised me somewhat, I've got to be honest. Another player I was fairly surprised to see starting was Fernandes. I predicted that he'd be taken out.
You just don't like him.
Would be brought in. I like him. I like him. You go back to my first ever appearance on NFTV in November, my friend. I praised Fernandes. But, that was after we'd won again.
I need to get Kyle on.
Oh, no. I'm not having this. No, because if Kyle's on, me and Kyle are together in scoring the players. I'm not having this Clark versus Lejeune debate over again with him. We all know Lejeune's a better player.
Lejeune is
there you go.
That much of a better player. You can't even get on the bench. Carry on.
Exactly.
A 9-man bench.
Exactly. It's beneath him. It's beneath him. It's beneath him.
I think
I'm not having you ganging up on me.
I think me and Rob have won that one there.
No, you haven't, because you're going to disappear now, and we're going to bring in TJ from South Africa because we are an international show on NFTV. So this is TJ. TJ, welcome back to NFTV. Good to see you again. What did you make of that performance this evening?
Hi there. Hope my connection is better.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a much better picture. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, it was actually a decent performance. I actually think we should have won. I know a lot of people are criticizing the goal, but I actually think we should have scored a few more.
Yeah, I remember when Joe Linton was through on goal, Mings put in a fantastic block. I mean, I'm not a huge lover of Tyrone Mings. And Carroll absolutely did him for the goal, but it was a great block. Rob, are we being a bit too harsh on the performance? TJ said he was pretty pleased. Was it a decent performance, or are we right to be disappointed?
The chances were there. I mean, there was also that chance that Almiron had when Rose set him up perfectly, and it just begs the question, why didn't Almiron hit it first time? Seeing him take a touch there was one of the most painful things I've ever seen as a Newcastle fan. But I think when you look at the end after Villa got that equalising goal in the closing stages, they definitely dominated. And so when they were knocking in set piece after set piece, and as we've touched upon, set pieces have been our Achilles heel a lot this season. So in some ways, and I saw a comment earlier saying that I think in some ways we are lucky to get a point. It is still disappointing to have gone ahead against a team that are really struggling at the moment. But let's be real. I think in the last few minutes they are going to come away thinking that the 3 points was there to be taken.
Mm.
So, TJ, there was an incident as Lee put up a horrendous comment from Davy Eddy. Milk turns quicker than Lejeune. As soon as I saw that come through, I knew Lee would put that on the screen. It's amazing how someone can be so wrong. But TJ, I want to take you back to just before half time. There was a bit of an incident between Douglas Luiz of Aston Villa and Jamal Lascelles, where there claimed to be a bit of an elbow or an incident of some sort, which saw Luiz booked. Should it have been a red?
Not in my opinion. I think a yellow was fine. I think a yellow was justified. There was a bit of a scuffle. I don't know if a red was justified. Even looking back at it, it was like a push and a shove, but I'm not sure red is correct.
Fair enough. Rob, are you going along with that? Yellow's fair enough?
Yeah. I'd say I kind of got a bit distracted because, of course, Lee's backstage controlling what comments we can see on the screen, and he keeps on putting up that Milk turns quicker than Lejeune. Absolutely love it. I love it because I can tell by your facial reaction there that is striking a nerve. If that's not striking a nerve, I don't know what is.
TJ, who's better, Lejeune or Clark?
Not this again.
Not to put you on the spot.
Give
if you say Clark.
TJ clearly knows his stuff about Newcastle. Give him a proper question. Go on.
There's a lot of pressure on this answer,
I'd
TJ.
have to say Clark.
Oh, you're not in his good books, TJ.
TJ, it was going so well. Right, let's move on quickly. Alan Saint-Maximin.
High five all the way to South Africa.
We can all agree Alan Saint-Maximin is brilliant. So let's stick on something we can all agree on. Talk me through ASM. He absolutely butchered Villa's midfield in that second half. Is end product something that's coming along nicely? Or, Lee, seriously, honestly, we need a lecture on foreign reserve. Anyway, I'll get back to my question. ASM, is the end product starting to come slowly, or is he not the finished product yet? Can he improve and become an even better player?
Definitely. I definitely think the end product is getting there, and the skill is definitely there, and even the passing is definitely there, and playing other players through. And I think he'll become a better player over time. And I think it's just fans being patient, and I think he will definitely improve over time.
Yeah, definitely. Rob, do we need this takeover to happen to keep ASM in the coming years?
It's a good show. I mean, money is a very powerful thing. It does a lot of talking. I think this year we might just be able to hold on to him because he seems to have a really good affinity with Newcastle as a city and as a community as well. So I think we might. I so hope that I'm right here in saying that I think we'll be safe in having him for at least one more year. But I think in terms of the long term, if you're looking for more than a year, then yeah, I think we might have to be looking towards a takeover so that we can actually start to take the club to the next level. And having ASM already in the squad, if this takeover does happen, is a perfect way of, getting us ready for that roller coaster journey that could happen.
Yeah,
definitely. One thing that I wanted to ask you, TJ, what did you make of Almiron's performance tonight?
I think. I don't know. He was kind of in the game at moments. He was in and out of the game. Like some moments he was there, like with that opportunity with him and Danny Rose. But then there was other moments in the game where he was kind of off. So I wouldn't say it was his greatest performance, but I mean, he could have done better. Definitely, it wasn't his best game.
Do you think his confidence has been allowed to dip since this whole break? Because before the league and everything got suspended, we saw him, his confidence was sky high. He played fantastic at West Brom. Do you think now, Rob touched on it earlier, he took that touch instead of just hitting it first time? That seems to me like a player that's struggling for confidence. Do you think the lockdown came at a really bad time for Miggy individually?
Yes, I definitely think so. But I wouldn't say I think struggling for confidence is a bit not really the right term I'd use. I think he's making the right decisions. His execution's just a bit off. Like, I'm really impressed with Dwight Gale today, because we've seen Dwight Gale miss a lot of those opportunities and a lot of one-on-one opportunities. And today he really did well. So I think some players are doing well and others are not doing great, but it's evening out. So I think overall, I think lack of confidence, it wouldn't be the term I'd use.
No, John Bruce in the comments makes a good point. He looked tired. I think that's a good point. 2 games in 3 days for the shift that he puts in. I tweeted a stat that I hope you would have seen, Rob, because you, as our resident stat man, it was regarding the amount of ground Miggy covers in a game. It was absolutely phenomenal. It's the highest in our team by that country mile. So it's a good point John Bruce makes. He could quite easily be looking tired. TJ, final one from you. As I've asked everyone, what chance do you give us on Sunday against Manchester City?
I think it'll be a tough one. If I think Steve Bruce can do it. Like, I'm not a big, in the beginning of the season when Steve Bruce was announced as manager, I mean, I wasn't very impressed, but I think he can do it. I think there's games like Chelsea and Tottenham and even the game against City early on in the season where we drew. I think there is a possibility, and if we do set up right, I think that we could get a result. I think we could get a positive result, but definitely the lads will have to work hard.
Fingers crossed they can do it. TJ, thanks for coming on. Appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll be on again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Cheers. As we welcome back Kieran Clark's biggest fan. He's overtaken Fabian Schär in. To be fair, since Lawler saw Fabian Schär's lockdown haircut, he seems to have gone off him a bit.
He's not playing, that's why. The elegant man not playing, because Fernandez and Lascelles are currently you possibly might say the best 2 partnership, but a lot of comments I've seen tonight, they're not big fans of Jamal's performance tonight.
I've an excellent stat for you. Oh, sorry, Sam.
No, stats come first. You know this. Every time stats come first, you go.
Yeah. Well, I've got an absolutely epic one for you now. Well, some of you will definitely think that I'm being a bit of a dickhead for saying this. Some of you will think I'm an absolute legend.
No more than normal.
But today is the first time in history, in Newcastle United's history, that we have scored on the 24th of June.
Well, yeah.
First time we've scored a competitive goal on the 24th of June. Yeah, well, there's a first for everything.
So the next one will be the first as well.
Well, yeah, it was the first on Sunday as well. Well, first 3 at least. What are you on about?
Yeah.
But yeah, on a more realistic level,
I'm disappointed in you with that stat. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah, on a more realistic level.
For that, make Rob disappear and let's bring in Proudlock, who's waiting. Then we'll go for Rowan, and then times are pressing. It will soon be time to wind up and get ready for scoring the players. Which, of course, stay tuned for that. Let's welcome Proudlock. Good evening.
Hello, how you all doing?
Bad, cheers, Peter. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
I'd have been feeling a whole lot better had we not let that lead slip. What did you make of that?
I'm disappointed we didn't get the 3-point game. We probably should have looked. I think we should have been getting points, but I think you've got to give Aston Villa credit for the fight that they put up tonight, and it just shows, by the look of it, they're not out of this relegation. They're definitely.
What are your general feelings towards Aston Villa, Peter? Because me and Lee have very strong feelings towards them, let's say.
I'm Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does go back to that sub on the time, doesn't it? Back in 2009, yeah.
But it's not really that for me. The fact is, my housemate, I mean, I say housemate, she's my wife. She supports Aston Villa. So
someone's on the sofa tonight.
Good, 2-week-old baby at home means I can get a full night's sleep. I digress. So, Prologue, who was your man of the match today?
Oh, it's got to be Alan Saint-Maximin. Another fantastic performance from him again tonight.
Are we too over-reliant on him?
It's a good question, that.
I think we are a little bit. At the moment, since we've come back out the last 2 games, it's been all Alan Saint-Maximin going forward. I know Richie scored and Joe Linton scored, don't get me wrong, but the majority of the ball is going to him first.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've got to learn to switch it to the other side rather than just relying on him every single time.
It'll be interesting to see how many touches he gets the last 2 games compared to the rest of the team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Lee, just a quick point. Do you think he works better down the right-hand side with Manquillo or down the left with Rose?
What's a partnership? I think Richie and Rose probably work better if you're playing away from home and you're trying to secure a point. For example, like Manchester City is a tough game. That'll probably work harder. But Alan Saint-Maximin's not going to want to be tracking back. He doesn't want to be doing that on the weekend against Manchester City. He wants that freedom to go and play further forward. So it wouldn't surprise me if Bruce changes it and plays him through the middle as the number 10 and put Almir on as the graft on the wing. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't think he will, but it wouldn't shock us.
Peter, that's the 2 games in a row now in quick succession. He started ASM on the left, and then he's had to switch it for the rest of the game and play him on the right. Do you think that Rose can't really handle ASM not tracking back as much as Richie would, or do you think it's just coincidence he works better on the right-hand side?
I think he does definitely work better on the right-hand side. It's easy for him also to get crosses in on his stronger foot rather than he's on the left-hand side and he's in a position, but then he has to turn to find a good spot to cross it in. But, yeah.
Where's the fan love coming from tonight? What's the big thing about me saying Lascelles and Mike Williamson are the same player? That was history. That was 4 years ago, sorted out. That was gone. That was Leola HD. That's gone.
That's very, very harsh on Lascelles.
It's on the internet, isn't it?
Yeah. We saw ASM go down the right-hand side and put in a fantastic cross in the first half, Peter. Are we missing the likes of an Andy Carroll from the start, a proper, typical centre forward?
Yeah, you'd need that target man at times in the box. That is the thing. I'd definitely maybe look to start Andy Carroll on Sunday against Man City. I thought when he came off the bench, I thought he did very well when he come off the bench and the assist for Dwight Gale's goals, particularly.
Yeah. So I will finish with you by asking you the same question I've asked everyone else. Do you give us a hope in hell on Sunday?
It's possible. We've seen upsets happen in cups before. That's
can you get off the fence and give us a yes or a no?
I'm actually gonna say I'm gonna have some hope.
Oh, we love the confidence. Go on. For the confidence, you can plug your channel before you go.
PD Prologue, my channel, if anyone wants to check me out.
Doing the videos any tonight, Peter?
Well, I'll probably get the review done at some point tonight, possibly. And I've got my quick thoughts up, so it's just the review to work on for the night.
Cool, I'll check on it later.
No problem, Jez.
Top man. Well, thanks for coming on, Peter. We'll see you again next time, no doubt, as we welcome back Rob into the room, wearing a very lovely vintage away shirt. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah. One of my favourite shirts.
Surely that match just screams Martins against Spurs to me.
Yes. Same here, same age. That game in general was absolutely terrific. Of course, Paul Huntington equalising. That was his one and only goal for Newcastle. Obafemi Martins scoring that second equaliser, absolute thunderbolt. And Nicky Butt, who was very unwell that day, came off his sickbed and scored that winning goal in that game. Terrific win at White Hart Lane.
Once met Nicky, but in a pub in my hometown in Newport, Shropshire. Fun fact. So as we say goodbye to Lee again very briefly, our final, I say caller, it's not a caller, our final guest tonight is Rowan. Rowan, you're on an FTV. What did you make of that game tonight?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I said this on the interactive show with Paul and Johnny last night. We just don't play well against teams we should be beating, and yet again we just it was lackluster. We didn't have a shot for the first half an hour, so it's just like,
yeah,
what do you do? It's like we rely so heavily on Saint-Maximin too much.
Yeah, I mean, you've taken the wind out of my sails there with the fact that I was about to bring up that we didn't have a shot in the first half an hour. So thank you for that. But yeah, Rob, he's got a point, hasn't he? It's teams like Villa and Norwich, particularly at home, we should be getting 3 points. Never mind scraping a point.
Yeah, it's very true that. I think when Saint-Maximin, I think yes, we do place a lot of reliance on him, but take him out of the team, wouldn't you say that we place a lot of reliance? We would then place a lot of reliance on Shelvey. It's what we certainly did in the Championship days, and he's just one of those players. ASM is just certainly one of those players that without him, when he doesn't start, our record really suffers. And the same went for Shelvey, like all those years ago in the Championship and the first one back in the Premier League. It's just every team has that one player that they rely on, like no matter who actually plays.
Rowan, do you think we look tired out there tonight? Would you have made a few changes from the start?
Well, I mean, I personally would have made changes, but I can understand why Bruce didn't. Like, obviously, Joe Linton scored, so you can't really take him out of the team as a striker. If he's scoring, you want to keep him in the team. You keep your strikers on form. Saint-Maximin's got two. Well, he had 2 in 2 games. Obviously, he scored at Southampton and Sheffield United. So, I mean, you can't take him out of the team. The only one with Richie, I mean, he only had. He was like off and on whether he would play in the Sheffield game. I would have rested him, and it looks like you should have probably rested him because he's in. I don't know if he'll be able to play on Sunday. I think Isaac Hayden should be all right because hopefully it was just like a knock or a cramp. But I personally would have made changes. I thought Fernandez struggled against Samatta. I think he had quite a few poor touches, which gave away corners. So I think Shaw would have suited this game better because obviously he's very good on the ball and would have been able to carry out the ball towards. I think Shelvey was poor today. He just that's the problem with Shelvey. It's like one game he can be brilliant, like the Sheffield United game. One game he can just he just doesn't look as interested as he was. I think Almiron, I think he sacrificed himself when he played on the left when Bruce decided to go 4-4-2. Obviously, I thought Carroll was that's the best I've seen him play for a long while. I mean, I think what he did well, what I think it showed Joe Linton didn't do as well in the game. He held the ball up well. I mean, I remember his control that he did on his chest, absolutely amazing turn, and he won a free kick, and he.
And it was so good.
Fouls, and he kept.
Go, Rowan, go. I mean, you were in full flow there, and I was agreeing with everything you were saying. So 2 quick fire questions before we go, because we're pushed for time. As I was agreeing with everything you're saying, I like to think me and you are like-minded. So I'm going to ask you, Lejeune or Clark?
Not going to let this go, is he?
Nope.
I think who's the better player, but you choose a player based off his form, and you choose Clark off his form. But if you're going off ability, I'd say Lejeune. I think Lejeune's probably him and Shaw are our 2 best defenders.
You're in his good books, then, Rowan.
But I
knew you were an intelligent guy. don't undersell it. You know, you were doing well. So one final question for you then: do you give us any chance on Sunday?
I think with the loss of the fans, I would have said I would have been confident and we would have won. But what is good? I mean, Aguero is injured, which is of grace, and I think Jesus, when he's ever has played against us, he's been quite poor. Struggled against us in the first game, 2-2. I thought Jesus struggled, but it's just like it's like the thing with the De Bruyne goal is like they have players that can just like do that, and we only have, I'd say, Saint-Maximin who could do like brilliance out of nothing, and Shelby, I'd say.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, Rowan, thanks for coming on again, and yeah, fingers crossed on Sunday. Cheers for coming on. That was Rowan, who picked Lejeune over Clark. Never mind fifth choice, Lawler, as you are messing around on controls.
I have got no control.
So, we both know you were, but there you go. As we start to wrap up now, please stay tuned. In about 15-20 minutes time, we're going to be back live for Scoring the Players. Then after Scoring the Players, we are back live again. Rob is speaking to a Villa fan as they go over the 1-1 result this evening. And then last but not least, we save the best to last. Of course we do. The man in the middle there in the questionable pink hat is back for the last word. Thank you, everyone who's come on, and thank you all for watching. Fingers crossed that we play a lot better on Sunday. So stay tuned for NFTV, and we'll see you very shortly.